topic. This is a fun topic, y'all. This is going to be silly. I want you all to share down in the comments, what are some things that you should not reveal and or ask on a first date? First time meeting somebody, y'all just getting to know each other, you out on a date, what are the things you don't disclose? Like, what should you keep your mouth shut about? What they don't need to know on the first date? So I say, when I say not, they don't need to know on the first date, they might not need to know ever. Okay, so clearly they don't need to know on the first date. I want to have fun with this topic, y'all, because I've had a lot of deep topics tonight. We talked about a lot of mental health, a lot of life-changing stuff. It's been deep. It's been fun. It's been a mixture, but it's time for something fun, okay? I mean, I watch a lot of TV shows, and sometimes I'll just be like, motor mouth. Like that, no, that's not, we don't know, you didn't need to say that, you didn't need to tell that, no. And some people just do it anyway. I want to know, what do you think? What do you know for a fact? What do you think? What do you assume are some things you should not say, tell, disclose on the first date? I'm going to give you a few I think. And to be honest, on a first date, I'm different. And I always tell y'all, I'm cut from a different piece of fabric. How I navigate things is different. So there's one thing I tell people on first dates that you may think, oh, you shouldn't do that. But I don't care, I'm going to do it. I've done it. I'm going to keep doing it. Well, I'm not in the space to be dating, but I'm always going to tell people this about me, period. Just a new friendship, okay? And that thing is going to always be, oh, you know what? I talked about it in the previous video tonight. And I talked about the whole being abusive relationships. And I always tell people, when I'm dating someone, very first thing is don't ever put your hands on me, because I don't have good sense when it comes to defending myself. So I don't have good sense when it comes to defending myself. I'm going to do anything, everything at all costs to defend myself in a volatile situation. So that's something that people will know about me on a first date. Yeah, like, don't put your hands on me. Like, if we continue and we go further, we get deep, don't ever put your hands on me. That's my thing. Somebody might say, well, why would you tell somebody? Because they need to know that on the first date. They need to know that. They need to know, don't put your hands on me. I don't know what's in your head. I don't know what's in your brain. I don't know what you're thinking and why you're thinking. Don't put your hands on me. That's the thing. Don't. I just think talking about past relationships to a magnitude that it seems like you're still stuck in it, I don't think that's good on the first date. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't make somebody uncomfortable because you can't stop talking about an ex. No, you shouldn't do that. I don't think you should talk a lot, like if you're in a co-parenting situation and there's anything about that. So you're not necessarily talking about the relationship, but just a bad co-parenting situation. I don't think you should talk about that. I just don't think you should go to the table talking about any aspect of your life that's negative. People don't want to hear, it's like they say on a job. You don't go to a job interview and talk about your previous job in a negative space. I think that's a little weird. I don't know why we can't be authentic and honest. Why can't you? But I get it. I get why, but it doesn't make sense. I'm so big on being authentic and be real that in certain spaces where I would want to do it, the world is like, no, you don't do that. Okay, then you just want a bunch of liars around you. I got off topic. Let me get back on. Negative co-parenting, exes, bad relationships. I don't think you should talk a lot about your children. I do think you should disclose the fact that you have children. I do. I think you should talk about the fact you have children. And the reason I don't think you should do too much when it comes to talking about your children is because you never know if you're meeting somebody for the first time and they're a predator. Baby, don't talk about your little girl too much. She's not cute. She is not beautiful. She don't have the cutest little shape. None of that. None of that. She doesn't have beautiful hair. She doesn't have beautiful skin. She doesn't have the cutest little smile. I have children. That's it. They're not the cutest little creatures at all. I'm joking, y'all. I'm joking. Don't come for me. Don't come for me. Seriously. Yeah. I just wouldn't put too much out there about your children because, again, meeting somebody for the first time, you don't know if you're not sitting in front of a predator, a pedophile. You don't know that. So, I have children. Leave it clean and simple. Don't need to talk about what they look like, their ages and all that, because, baby, if he knows you got an 8-year-old, beautiful little daughter, he can make sure he's going to keep whining and dining you on a date to get close to that 8-year-old daughter. So, I don't think that's something that we should talk about too deeply and too openly, especially the looks of a child. Little boys too, because pedophile they own a different spectrum. So, and I just think, again, not too much negative stuff. If you're gonna talk about your family, not too many negative aspects. I do think it's okay to be honest. If you're talking about family dynamics where you come from a dysfunctional family, now I'm giving you a plot twist here because I just said don't talk about anything negative. But I also said in an earlier video, it's okay to be honest about things, you just have to soften the blow. So, you don't want to talk about a toxic family where we be fighting at funerals and cursing each other out on Thanksgiving. You can keep it clean that there's a little bit of toxicity in the family, a little bit of dysfunction. Leave it at that. You don't even give no examples. But that way you're being honest. And the person is not clueless as to what type of environment they are getting themselves into if they're invited to a family event or function. So I do believe honesty with intention is best practice. Because who wants to go into a situation blindly, and then they find out all this stuff that you didn't tell them. So I say if you have to be honest and tread lightly with the things that are negative, but you still want to put it out there. If you choose. I feel like on the first date, we should just have fun. We shouldn't talk too much deeply anyway. It's a first date. I'm feeling your energy, your vibe, how you look, how you move, your mannerisms if we're out to dinner. I'm just checking and feeling you on the first date. Because, baby, if we don't even mesh your vibe, there won't be a second date to talk about children or family or co-parents or past relationships. It's just a fun date. Let's meet. Let's mesh. It reminds me of the time I met somebody. We were scheduled to have our first date. And I don't remember. Let me see if I can remember where we were going. Where we were going? Just, I think, to eat. I think we were going to eat. And the person wanted to know, was I available after that if I wanted to hang out further? I thought that was pushy. I said, let me tell you something. What I would like to do is meet you first and see if we have a connection and a vibe to where I want to spend more time with you after we have lunch. And I was, again, that's just me. I'm just blunt and honest because I'm like, hey, pump your brakes. And I could have said pump your brakes. You asking too much. You doing too much. Again, I was honest, but I softened the blow. That's an example. Let's hang out first. Let me see if our energies mesh and we are cool hanging around each other throughout lunch to know if I want to do something after the fact. And that's just how I was. That's just me. Don't ask me to do 5 things on the first date. I'm going to get a little sniff for you, a little whiff for you, and I'm going to go home and process and determine if we'll hang out again after that. That's how I navigate first dates. So that's my navigation on first dates. I personally, I'm going to wrap this topic up so I don't keep repeating. I don't really have a takeaway for this one, but I do feel like a first date should be fun and light. Clearly somewhere safe and in the open. Daylight, not at night, not in nobody's house, and not getting in nobody's van. Nobody's car that might transport you to a van. Stay in your own vehicle. I definitely say keep it light. Just vibe with the person or not. There may not be a vibe. Figure them out, feel them out, know whether you want to do anything after that. And, you just don't tell all the dark, deep, ugly, dysfunctional things about you and or your life and or your family and or your job. You just don't. Ease those things into conversations. And I say ease because they may start sharing some toxicity first. So you may find out like, oh, so it's cool. You told me about your hyper active brother. So let me tell you about my super energetic sister. And then they may tell you about their boss that gets on their nerves and why they don't like this aspect of their job. So then you can kind of, okay, let me trinkle on top of that and tell you about my job. This aspect of it isn't the best because of this, but I'm happy to have a job. See, you can let them lead. You don't always have to lead everything either on the first day. You don't have to lead with all the topics and conversations. If you know you got some things you want to share, let them talk to them 3 or 4 good times, and trust me, some things are going to come out. Now, if you're talking to a person, their world seems to be perfect and they never seem to have any issues, then baby, blink twice so we can come get you. You might need to be rescued from that date, because if you can't come out and talk about negative, not so pretty things because their world seems perfect, you might just want to get up out of there, because I don't know. I'm joking, clowning around. Like I said, it's going to be a fun topic. Some people have such a structured, boring life, they may call it, that they want a little bit of rah-rah. They want a little fuss in their life. Some people don't. They want nothing to do with drama. No toxicity, no family drama, no weird dynamics. It's different for a lot of people. So you have to figure that out with the person. But don't tell too much on the first date. Have fun. Get to know the person. There may not be a second date. May not be a reason for anything else. Listen, I'm going to hop off this topic. Thank you all for watching. Stay tuned. Keep watching. I appreciate y'all. Bye.